Alright, this is start 3. I'm going to show you this can be done, but I had to just create rectangles without using the offsets command. For some reason with the offsets it no longer works, so it's a real pain. This is a fully constrained profile. I just undid this. I put in the radiuses, and those are the profiles. Okay, so I had to create each rectangle using the rectangle command. So I create these rectangles, which is a lot more slower and cumbersome than it is using offset. That's why I like the offset command. But with this one I could do an auto constrain. I set my datums, I put in my corners, and that's it. It's all done and it works fine. So again, some of you might not be familiar with it, so I'll just highlight the profile, do the auto constrain, use these as my use these as my references, stack dimension it, say okay. No, not stack dimension, I meant to change dimension because I want to keep the walls all a ½ inch thick. So I'm going to do those two as my references, say okay as a chain dimension, establish this as an anchor, establish this as an anchor. If you guys are doing this, you guys, I want you to know you have to get rid of the V and the H's. This V and this H, you have to go. That's a double constrain. You do not want the V and H's on there. Another complaint I would have is, man, if I didn't already know those were V and H's, unless my eyes got way worse since the 3D Experience versus V5, I can barely make out the H and V's. They're so tiny. But you can see it's fully constrained. Now I want to get 3/8 inch corners on here. I highlight these. I'll do all my corners at one time at 3/8 of an inch, and boom, I'm done. This profile's done, and it's easy to go in and do multi-pockets and do a chameleon pocket example. So if I delete this, an even easier way should be to create a rectangle, go into offsets, offset it, I don't know, let's call it 5 times at a distance of a ½ inch. Okay, now it comes in with these constraints already automatically, which should be fine. It's always done that before on V5. In fact, this has even done this on the earlier versions of the 3D Experience before the date of 7/20/22/2020. Okay, so I highlight this and I go right to auto constrain, just like I did last time. Just like I did last time, I set these two references. I select OK. Oh no, it's going to crash. Oh, now I get an over constraint situation. I got all these constraints still in here. And I tried to constrain this every which way I could think of. I'm going to highlight these, set them as my anchors. Okay, so that seems to be fine. I got to manually constrain some of these to try and get this thing to work. Again, since the new version, I find this very difficult to try and grab the edges. I'm trying to get right on that edge and right on that edge, and the 9 will sometimes be right in the way and I can't get that line underneath. Now it's purple. Now right from being under constrained to over constrained. So I'll undo that. Okay. There's every constraint I try and put on here now is just going to tell me it's over constrained probably. So no matter what I try and do, I can't get this profile fully constrained. And then I try and corner this the same way you just saw in the other demo. Ooh. And look what it did to the whole thing. It just made a mess of this thing. So all of a sudden now, with the new enhancements, we are not allowed to use this offset, or something's happened where it's much different, and I have to manually create each of the rectangles. Again, this makes no sense. I've done the offset. I'm trying to undo right now. I put those anchors on there. Shoot. Let's do the anchors the old-fashioned way here. Let's grab these two lines and use the dialog box. Oh, look, H and V's aren't even on. I'll set this as my anchors. Okay, another thing I did try, I tried to highlight all of these because they don't have the H's, and I'll give it the horizontal. So now I have all horizontals, and I'll highlight all of these, and I'll give them the verticals, which it should have done automatically in my opinion with the offsets. It's not helping. I'm going to try and manually constrain. Sorry. Manually constrain something. Let's try and get this one and this one. They're both white. So how could they suddenly be over constrained? I'm going to hit undo. So I don't know what's going on with the offset, what's locking up what, but it should have been way easier, as you saw in the first part of the demo. It was no problem at all before. Now I have to manually create the rectangles, and I got the H's and V's in there. I'll put the H's and V's on this one as well. Oh, shoot. Those are all vertical. And all of these should be not vertical. Why did that even come up as an option? All of those should be horizontal. It says it's horizontal, but they're not. I got to turn it off and turn it on, and then it will actually do the horizontal. So that's another thing. It was saying it's horizontal, and they're not. So anyways, again, I can't add any constraints, and I can't corner this thing. I try and corner this thing. Half-inch radius. It does some weird stuff here. I'll try and auto search this. Do a corner. Let's try a half-inch here. And right click on this. Auto search. Do a half-inch here. Right click on this. Right click on this. Auto search. Try another half-inch over here. Auto search, corner, half-inch. See, it doesn't appear to be working right again. Auto search, come on, corner, half-inch. Auto search, corners, half-inch. One of them got all messed up. Again, they're not fully constrained. These are no longer constrained. They were green earlier. I don't know what you gotta do to get this thing fully constrained. It doesn't behave right at all when I'm doing the offset command. So another new enhancement is it doesn't work when using offset. Let's see if I can't put these back. See, all my constraints that were there, they disappeared for some reason. Where did they go? You can't auto constrain now. If you try and do an auto constrain now, it'll probably be a purple mess. But not only that, it will dimension to the tangent edges instead of, uh-oh, I just crashed it probably. It's really not going to like it here, okay? But you can't, I don't see any of the other issues. I just see it's fully, what's dimensioning off of here. I'm not controlling the dimensions well at all. Anyways, it's just a mess. And I can't use the offsets. I got to use the rectangle command. So if you got a fix, let me know.